Hey, what's up, everybody? Nick Unreal for NewOrleans.Football, and you're watching The Dot presented by Matt Bowers Auto Group. It's time for another weekly mailbag, and as always, the questions are submitted by our subscribers in our private Twitter community. So if you are a member of the site, get on there, find the link, sign up for the community, and you can interact with us in there, as well as all the other channels that we're already available on. So the first question this week comes from Kevin Sims, who asks, which camp battles are you most excited for? Last year it was all Jameis versus Taysom, but there's going to be some fierce battles going on pretty much everywhere but QB. I'm glad that this year the Saints are going into camp with at least more of a sure thing at quarterback. That's one less thing to worry about. So it will be Jameis Winston's team moving forward, and they'll have the opportunity to grow and learn and develop with all of his wide receivers. And that should allow him to enter the season with more momentum than he did last year. Not that he was lacking for any momentum in that first game against Green Bay, but it's a better situation that one settled. But there are going to be some really good battles this year in camp. I'm excited to watch Alontae Taylor and Paulson Adebo battle at cornerback. I think Paulson Adebo has the upper hand going into camp, but it will be interesting to see how Taylor keeps pace with him. And then I want to see the left tackle battle too. Penning versus James Hurst. I think that's really going to be more about how ready Penning is than it will be the battle. I think if Penning's ready to play, he should run away with that one. He's a first-round pick, the more talented player, and eventually that will be his job. But it will be interesting to see him stack up against someone like James Hurst early in the season. And our second question comes from Felipe, who asks, as the team is constituted today, which player do you think the season hinges on the most? This is going to kind of go back to the last question. I think the season hinges on Jameis Winston more than anybody else. The Saints have put the pieces around him for him to succeed. I think there's probably room for one more wide receiver, but having Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, and Chris Olave is a pretty good start as far as the weapons go. And the defense is going to be good enough to carry games. So it's going to be about Jameis going in there, executing the offense, limiting mistakes, and doing all the things he needs to do to continue to succeed. He showed last year that he can avoid those mistakes. So really it's just about doing that while throwing the ball at a higher volume than he did a year ago. And the last one comes from ATC, who asks, do the Saints need to add another pass catcher this offseason? As I said just a second ago, I think that there's room for one more person on this team. You can always add more weapons to your team. As far as it being a need or a must, I don't necessarily agree with that take at all. I think, again, having Michael Thomas and Chris Olave is a really good start to that situation. And then going from there, you can always add another player, but that's more of a want at this point. I think the pieces are there enough to succeed, but if you could add one more player who's a quality player that could lift up that level above Traquan Smith or Marquez Callaway, I think you have to do it, just like you do at every position. But going out there, having to have it done, I don't think that's something that I necessarily think is true for where this team is at right now. So for all of your coverage, keep it locked to NewOrleans.Football.